What's up, world? This is Salim with Flip for Figs, and welcome to episode 12 in my figure matchup series. Today we have Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. This is the Bespin Deluxe version versus R2-D2 from the original trilogy. I'll be comparing sculpt and detail, accessories, and overall value for the money to see which figure comes out on top. Stay tuned to the end of this video to see who next week's figure matchup will be.
Flip for Figs.
When I flip, you flip, we flip.
Sculpt and detail wise, he looks great out of the box, and you could see that his dome is die cast, so there is some weight to the dome, and it can kind of spin around there. You have his little periscope for when he's navigating the swamps in Dagobah. He's got lights and features both on the front and the back, and wheels on the bottom of his legs, and then you can kind of put him in his rolling position here, and the legs are articulated, but you can move one at a time. And then he has his third leg, which you can click here to pop out, and you can pull that out. So you could do it standing straight up, or you could do it like he did in the movies and retract that and have him roll that way. Alrighty, so R2-D2 comes with this remote, and if you put batteries in the dome as well as batteries in this remote, you can control light and sound features using the R and W buttons. So the R button controls the lights. Pressing R once lights up this light right here, as well as the one on the top and the one on the rear. And pressing it again gives us the iconic blue and red blinking lights, as well as these white blinking lights here. And then on the back you get an orange and green blinking light. And then this is where the fun begins. If you press W, you get a bunch of different sound effects. There's 14 in total. Let's listen to them. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Number 13. And finally, the best one of all, number 14. So yeah, 14 sound features is just really awesome. Personally, I would have been happy with a couple beeps and boops and maybe just that final scream for when he's taking hits in the X-Wing. But the fact that they gave you 14 different sound effects is super awesome. All right, sculpt and detail wise, there's a lot to like here. It's a great looking head sculpt, and I think I prefer the Return of the Jedi Luke, but this one looks really great. The tailoring on the outfit is also perfect, especially when you compare it to the older DX07, so I'm glad they redid this one. The belt has a lot of great detail on it. It is pleather, unfortunately, and that thigh strap is really thin, so be careful when you're trying to kind of thread that over his leg. The boots are not pleather. They're actually a soft fabric-y material, but I thought they were, or maybe they are pleather, actually. Now that I look at it, I think the boots are pleather as well, but they look fabric-y at first. But yeah, they are pleather. And I prefer this hair compared to the other one. The other one is meant to look like he's kind of sweaty. The detail work on the display base is perfect. I love that kind of brushed metallic look, and you know, the hoses and everything like that. I love that it's all lit up. I like that you can display them independently of one another or together. The Dagobah base is great as well. There's some really nice sculpt work to give it that look, that gross kind of swampy look. But I think the greatest sculpt work has to be on this Vader helmet right here. You could just see that it looks all scratched and scuffed up everywhere, and his facial expression is perfect. He looks absolutely terrified. It's super gross here. So yeah, Luke is taking sculpt in detail. Alrighty folks, for Luke Skywalker, this is everything you're going to get in the box. You get the old style battery light up arms, and a funny story, I've never actually tried using these. You get these extra hands, kind of a force push hand, pointing hand, and then, you know, multiple grip hands and a fist. Then you get an extra set of hair, which is magnetic, and this is to kind of mimic him sweating or kind of like hanging on for dear life in Bespin, I think, or, you know, maybe sweaty from carrying Yoda in the swamp. And then you get, you know, the standard blade. You also get the swooshing effect blade. You get this amazing display base here, which is actually two parts. So these can be separated and lit independently. Otherwise, you can connect them together, and they can all be lit up via USB, which I think is a great trick that they did. I'm so glad that they didn't require two cables to go into there. And then you get this Dagobah display base, which has this kind of holographic swamp on it. And then you get also this diorama section with these swamp details that kind of just sits along with it. I think it's really cool that they gave us that, because it'll flesh out kind of the, you know, the Dagobah scene if you have Empire Strikes Back Yoda. And then this is the best accessory for sure. This is from the dream sequence in Dagobah when he thought he was killing Darth Vader, but he cut the head off and it ended up being himself. And you can see it's really just disgusting there. His head cut off and he looks freaked out there. This is a really awesome accessory, and I'm so glad they gave it to us. You also get his blaster here, which I have holstered up. It was kind of a pain to holster that up, and I worried about tearing it, so I'm not going to take it out. And then, just so you're aware, the belt does not come on the figure. You have to put it on him, and you have to kind of be careful because you have to go through the leg to get this portion around his thigh, and then you wrap it on there. Alrighty, so for R2-D2, this is everything that comes in the box. So you get the remote, which controls both the sounds as well as the light features. You also get two Princess Leia hologram figures. This one is kind of bending down as if she's just finishing sending the transmission, and this one is standing up. You also get kind of the hologram pedestal, which has this on and off switch on the bottom. I think mine is starting to die, but it usually does a better job of kind of lighting up at least the bottom portion of Princess Leia. Then you get this little kind of lamp, I think. This is from Dagobah, the swamp scene, and it has this nice cool wire that hooks into R2. And you obviously get all of these incredible tools. I won't even begin to try to pretend like I know the names of all of these, but you'll see him displayed with every single one of them. And you also get this, which is the kind of the Death Star plans, which is a nice ode to Rogue One. Now let's put all these inside of him. All right, and there he is with all of the tools sticking out. Well, not all of the tools. I couldn't figure out how to place this one as well. The instructions show it goes in this section, but then if you try to put all four, it just doesn't work. And on the box as well, they don't show four of them. So that's pretty much everything. And he just looks insane. Total like apocalypse robot status. He's got that, table saw. He's got this drill here, all these different probity probes, some claw hands, and then these little like thinner arms out there, and then this one, which is his like, I guess sensor or whatever. But yeah, it just looks awesome. It's kind of it's not as hard putting everything in as I thought it would be because a lot of it is magnets and some of them are just stick in. But as you saw in the video, it can be finicky because everything is magnetic and so it sticks to the doors and stuff like that. But overall, really cool to include all these features. I don't think I'd ever display him like this, but it's a nice feature nonetheless. You also got Luke's lightsaber hidden in this compartment right here. Once you get it in there, it's kind of hard to get it out unless you flip it upside down, so I'm just going to leave it in there. So, without a doubt, R2-D2's taking accessories. All right, let's talk value for the money. So this set is a deluxe set, and it's no longer available at retail. So you're going to probably pay between $350 to $400 US, maybe more, maybe less. And in terms of other figures in the same price range, I think that this figure is a great value because number one, it's got a great Mark Hamill head sculpt. The tailoring on the outfit is fantastic. The display base is awesome, and it's super, I love that it's modular. The fact that you could display just this portion by itself, or you could display this other section here with with the lights separately. So you're kind of getting like, a diorama accessory as well as a, display base. They can both be displayed together or separately. But if that wasn't enough, you're also getting the Dagobah display base, which is really cool. Yet, when it comes down to it, this is one of many, many Luke Skywalkers. And, I think there's a very strong likelihood we're going to continue to get more Luke figures. I mean, even when there really isn't a need for it, like the Dark Empire Luke, we got Luke, right? And so, when I look at value for the money, I look at how unique is this to my collection. And to be honest with you, if I didn't have this specific figure, I could have went with the DX07. I could, I do have my Return of the Jedi Luke. I also have my Pilot Luke. I have my New Hope Luke. It's one of 4 Luke Skywalkers in my collection, and my collection is not that huge. And so, would I miss this figure a ton? Probably not. What really would have set this figure off is if they allowed you to take the jacket off so that way he would have the tank top on, and if they included the backpack. Now, I can see why they didn't want to include the backpack because it would be kind of silly without having Yoda there. But why not give us, instead of another Luke figure, which may have been too costly by today's standards, why not give us Yoda? You're giving us the Dagobah display base. Why not give us Yoda to go with him in the backpack so you could have both options? I just feel like this figure goes like 90% of the way, but it doesn't go 100% of the way. So with that in mind, value for the money compared to other figures in the price range is good. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's one of many Luke figures out there. So say what you will about that. All right, let's talk value for the money. So when I started collecting Star Wars Hot Toys, I knew I needed an R2-D2, and I was actually really surprised by the fact that there's only been one from the original trilogy. Now, there is one from Attack of the Clones as well, and they're very similar. It's a lot more weathered and dirty, and it's just not, the single R2 I wanted for my collection. There is one also from The Force Awakens, but the general consensus is that that's the weakest out of the 3. And so I knew I needed this specific R2, and it was actually really expensive. Everywhere I looked, was going to be over $400 USD. And so I kind of held off on buying it for a while until I found someone on Facebook Marketplace who was selling one for a decent price. And I bought it, and I'm so glad I did. You know, as I showed you, it comes with a ton of accessories. And, you know, aside from the tools, the fact that he comes with like the little lamp for, you know, Dagobah, it could be your Empire Strikes Back R2. He also comes with the Princess Leia hologram, and there's multiple variations of that, which is really cool. And so I think they just went above and beyond, as they should have, because it's a smaller figure, right? And so I think in order for them to be able to charge Hot Toys prices, they really needed to go above and beyond with the accessories, and they did. The light up features really do kind of knock it out of the park, as well as all the sound effects. You know, in terms of value for the money, I think that you're not going to be disappointed, even though it's expensive. It retailed at a pretty affordable price, but if you're like me, getting it on the aftermarket, you're going to be paying a lot for it. The only original Trilogy R2 you have, could you get by with the Attack of the Clones ones, which is cheaper, or the Force Awakens ones? Yeah, you could. But this one has those original Trilogy accessories that really just kind of set it off and help distinguish it in a class of its own. And so, you know, for this specific figure matchup, I've got to give value for the money to R2-D2. Alrighty, folks, let's talk results, because this week was a tough one. I feel like either of these figures could have taken it. They're both great. They both come with a lot of accessories. They both, you know, are a big bang for your buck, so the value is there. They both have really incredible sculpt and detail work, but there can only be one winner. And so Luke Skywalker took sculpt and detail, but R2-D2 got accessories and overall value for the money. So in this week's figure matchup, R2-D2 took it.
On next week's episode of Figure Matchup.
When I flip, you flip, we flip.